Welcome back, Stranger Family. This is another episode of Stranger Talks. I'm joined with a fantastic guest. She's literally another sister from another mother. In addition to that, welcome guys, Jaden. Jaden, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing fantastic, man. Thank you for asking. Thank you.
Awesome. So, I am not in Houston. I'm in Kansas for a business trip, and I wanted to make sure to captivate this moment because it's very important to have stories like yours um, be shared in a very organic fashion. And I just want to commend you for, like sticking through and committing to this show. So, do you remember our first encounter?
Yeah, I do remember first encounter
Okay.
actually. So
Mhm.
for the people out there listening,
Yeah.
I work with my mother-in-law. Her name's Candace Milton. Is the owner of King of Pop, so I work under her. And basically we just have different locations we go to. And the week that I met him, I was stationed at Herman Zoo, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but you work with organization that has to do with charity
Exactly.
named Hair, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, like I remember meeting you and honestly even just seeing you before we even started having discussion, just witnessing the way that you move and you engage with people and how committed you were with trying to get the message spread.
Exactly.
Uh, and just not getting defeated by all the no's because of course as you and I know you get a lot of no's
Uh-huh.
in when you're doing that kind of thing. But yeah, he was very charismatic, got a lot of energy, great energy,
Thank you.
and the most impressionable thing that stuck with me was how genuine you really are. You know, a lot of people wear different masks. Hell, I wear a mask too. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But it seems that obviously you got your own things going on in your life, but you
Mm-hmm.
still are just very honest and authentic with who you are. So that was my impression from like our first time ever meeting and having a conversation.
Well, thank you so much. That was a very genuine expression from your end. In addition to that, I can say the same thing about yourself too. You're very just humble in your demeanor and your approach. Easy to talk to, right? I didn't feel like I was forcing any conversation. Everything just flowed smoothly, and I just remember just how I guess you know your attitude was just so reflectable. Meaning, like when your demeanor being so calm made me want to be calm, like I matched your
Right.
energy like throughout the whole day. You had your umbrella, right? You were under the shade, or we're over here cooking in the sun. I'm just joking, but for the most part, right, you made sure to keep that same energy throughout the day. I even saw you at some points, right, doing your sketching. Do you have a sketchbook where you draw?
I do. Yeah,
Exactly.
I do.
I found that very fascinating because I myself, when I was young, I used to have a sketchbook of all old Cartoon Network characters from like Dexter to like Samurai Jack, Powerpuff Girls, Code Kid Next Door,
Nice.
and I used to draw
Right.
myself. So I kind of find that very relatable, and
Hmm.
it makes sense, right? Very therapeutic. I think you find it. So
Very much.
yeah, awesome. So Herman Park was where I first encountered you. And now, what kind of intrigued you about this pod? And why were you so, I guess, committed towards it?
Well, like I already do like podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, of all kinds, even the ignorant ones, I'll be candid. But
Yeah.
mainly I really like this one, not in any way that somebody might think initially. It's just because I liked how fresh this is. And the fact that you are you are carrying it out the way that you are, getting people's stories and just having genuine conversation and asking the right honest questions.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the type of podcasts that I really like to be invested in because I'm not a surface level type of person. I like to be introspective. I like to be deep, and I like to get that out of people as well, because otherwise we're not having true human connection. It's
Correct.
just like robots. So
Correct.
I wasn't picking that up from your podcast. And then also they're just really personable. And as we know, we live in a world where a lot of people just kind of want to mesh you together and they want to be the same. They don't want, like, we want individuality, but they don't, you know? So the fact that you still display that and it's a unique experience on each podcast that you have, it really just drew me in.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much. That's the whole, epitome of the show, right? Is to be as organic, as authentic as possible. Like, yes, if you mess up your slurs or if you stutter, I don't care. As long as you are, getting the message across and conveying it to the listeners all across the world. So, the whole aspect of the idea of podcasting, my inspiration comes from many people, right? Like the GOAT, Joe Rogan, obviously, but soft under white belly, right? That guy. He's more
Yeah.
raw than me because he takes it to another level. Like he talks to like literal prostitutes and drug addicts. Like I'm not on that level yet. And I really,
Yeah.
hopefully maybe in the future, but as of right now, I just want to, um, spread positivity and just, just stay on a very like positive route and not going to something very dark because I don't know how I can relate to that type of information or turn it into something positive. Now, the only exceptions, like I was telling you on this pod, is somebody can come with a dark message, but I need you to have a happy end story. You get me? Like Disney Channel. You get me? Like I want people to take something positive away from this conversation. Okay, so
Yeah.
now enough of the pod. I want to now transition to your origins, Jaden. Who are you? Like, I want to know your upbringings, your family dynamics, things of that nature.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'll just, give you the nice, like, cliche answer at
Okay.
first, but I was, born in Virginia.
Wow.
I guess we didn't stay there for that long. I guess shortly after I was born, we ended up moving to, Houston, Texas for a while. And, that's kind of just like the origin of my real childhood where I
Hmm.
started, living here consciously,
Okay.
making friends and instilling like my values and who I am at the core and stuff like that. We lived here for some years, ended up moving to El Paso, and then after that we moved to California,
Wow.
and I just kind of lived the rest of my life there. And I ended up moving back to Houston, Texas around, I want to say 2022.
Okay.
So by the time I moved back, I was well within my 20th. I want to say I was about 22 years old as well.
Wow.
22, 20, or, well,
Yeah.
little later in my school life.
That makes so much sense.
Um, but my family, so I'm the only girl and I am the youngest. It's
Okay.
two older brothers. My dad is black and my mom is Mexican. They both grew up in California as well. One grew up in Riverside, one grew up in East Los Angeles. And then my brothers were also born in California too. So just to get you a little
Hmm.
perspective to kind of run with, me being the only one born in Virginia, this kind of sets the tone for my life.
Wow.
Not that I am the odd man out, but I'm a
Yeah.
little bit of the odd man out, you know? So that's kind of just how I grew up. I was always to myself. I was a shy kid,
Yeah.
very reserved as I grew up. Well, I'm still pretty reserved as a person.
Hmm.
Um, I love anything creative in any type, way, or fashion. I kind of take my approach on life just with romance. 'Cause I feel like if you don't, then there's kind of just no point, you know? It just kind of gives you something to look forward to every day and something to appreciate more when you look at it in the eyes, when you look at it through the lenses of love and romance.
Correct.
And that's just me. Um, and then again, like I love being creative. As you know, I like to draw.
Yeah.
I've been an artist for such a long time. I never really took the time to go full-fledged into it because of my own, life gets hard and
Hmm.
people tell you get realistic, but aside from all of that, it's always been a passion of mine. But also grew up in a sports family, so sometimes, some people know, with that dynamic, you have to kind of pick a side. It's not necessarily like you don't want to be an artist or creative, but it's hard
Yeah.
it's hard to continue being a creative person in a household full of athletes.
Mm, that makes so much.
But
I
yeah,
recall, right? You mentioned these three places, right? Virginia, California, and Houston. I know you were born in Virginia, but you spent majority of your upbringings in Cali, right? Riverside. What would be like some of the most memorable things you remember in that area growing up?
mm. So actually, I didn't grow up in Riverside. My dad was born there. I grew up in
Okay.
different cities in California. Like
Gotcha.
our family, they not now obviously, but they moved a lot even since before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
So even if we were living in the state, we would move around the city, move to different cities in the state. But I mainly stayed floating around Marietta, Temecula area, which is considered like wine country.
Okay.
For those who want a little bit more clarity, I guess you could say that's kind of like San Diego sector.
Mm,
But the most memorable thing for me living out there was really just being in nature and how accessible it was.
yep.
As you know, since you've been
Mm-hmm.
living in Houston, I should say, there's not really much terrain. It's all flat land.
Mm-hmm.
It's no knock, but the beaches aren't the prettiest, or
Yeah.
just you don't necessarily have that desire to really step out in nature like you would want to out in California. It's
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful place to be, and like I said and mentioned before, I already look at life with the eyes of romance, so it just made it a lot easier for me to be able to take it all in and appreciate living out there. I also I also really enjoyed all the different kinds of people that I experienced out there,
Okay.
from the low down to the most successful that you can come across. Um, it helped me have a very good understanding of what diversity really is and what that looks like, whether it's in a culture or whether it's even in one individual. And living in California, because of the stigmas it has on it, which honestly are pretty true,
Yeah.
it's a great place to be able to explore
Mm.
different aspects. So yeah, long story short, I I just loved living there because of just all the options that you have, and again, just the nature for me being the biggest part.
Okay, that makes sense, And you mentioned earlier, right, that you are the last born and you're the only girl. Did you have any like favoritism or impartiality or like impartiality towards your parents or anything like that? Like, were you
You know,
favored a lot of the times? Were you babied and things of that nature?
I mean, of course, like, I'm the only girl in
Yeah, yeah.
the two boys, so in their own way, they definitely were a lot softer with me, of course,
Okay.
and would want to cater to me and spoil me in some ways, but I don't get it twisted though. My parents, they don't really play that whole favoritism thing. Like if it's like a Three Musketeer mindset, that one for all for one type deal. So
Yeah.
in ways, yes, there was a little bit of impartialness. There was a little bit more favoritism or attention put on me in some areas.
Uh,
But it could be the same for my brothers as well, mainly because, like I said, it's a very athletic
that,
family, and
yes.
my brothers being the oldest and them playing football since they were kids, the focus was always that. So,
Mm,
we all got our own little taste of favoritism in some ways, or just extra attention.
got you. Okay. And that's actually cool because I'm a middle child, and I mean, being the last born, sometimes like, you know, the cliche is you are babied and things of that nature. But from your experience, like you were the only girl and the last child, so you're like a real, like, we call it over here at my you know occupation, we call it the white rabbit, right? Where you're just, instead of the black sheep, you're the white rabbit because you had so much indifference in your family. Like, you're the artistic one and everybody is a sports one. How was that, like, dynamic? Was it very challenging growing up? Did you have a lot of, like, awkward conversations or hard to relate with your family when it came to, like, those Sunday dinners?
Oh, yeah, of course. Or even just on our day to day, like one, I just want to put this out there. Our family is close knit. As we all know,
Yeah,
families go through their own things. They're going to have their ups and downs. But
of
my
course.
family, despite the chaos that may come or the
Yeah.
arguments, we're always pretty close knit. But, the downside to having a personality that I did and the family that I did was that, yeah, um, did feel left out a lot of times just because what I was passionate about
Mm,
was not what everybody else was not, I won't say passionate about, but it wasn't, valued as much, you
exactly.
know?
Yeah.
So with that being said, personalities are a little different. I might be a little bit more sensitive to some things compared to the rest of the family, and just a little context as well. My mother, great mom, she's a wonderful woman, but she grew up to be strong and rough as well. So
Yeah.
with that being said, I didn't necessarily have the soft example of a woman. I had a very strong mother
Mm,
to look up to, and it made it a little difficult at times for me when I did want to try and pursue my artistic side or not do sports for a year or
mm,
not follow through with something because my heart wasn't in it. I was a type of person where if I will try and try and try until the wheels fall off, but if it's not, I can't give my 100%. I don't want to waste my time doing it. And with that being said, it did create a lot of layers in our family dynamic and even just our personal relationships with each other. It made it difficult to get along sometimes. It made it
mm,
difficult to be understood and vice versa. But also on the flip side, it made us stronger in some ways because of our differences. So as I'm not sure if you have had this experience, but sometimes when you are a little too similar to a person, there's no room for new information
of
or
course.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just it doesn't allow a lot of things to come into play just because it feels so comfortable, familiar. So
100%. Well said. I can attest to that just because, in my family, right, I was the one that, like, my older sister, my younger brother, right, popular, people knew about them, and I was the kind of, like, odd one out. I had friends, but it wasn't as big as theirs, and now, like, I'm in a position where genuinely, like, I had to, in my life now, like, I'm not trying to mold myself to fit in. I'm just myself, and I'm attracting people who are for me. Well, back then,
right.
I used to just try to, like, mold myself into a group or try, because I wanted to fit in so bad and I wanted to belong. But I'm finding out now, right, in my grown age that, hey, nah, like, you're gonna attract who's meant for you. So, um, family is very important. I grew up with a single parent home. My father passed when I was very young. But at the same time, I've said this in previous podcasts. Um, Due to his passing, my mother was like the linchpin, right? She was both the father and the mother. So, it definitely, it probably would have been different if he was alive. Would you say in your family, like, you gravitated towards your father or your mom?
Definitely my mother.
Okay. In what way?
Ah, I'm not trying to be that person, but bro, in every way.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah,
Uh,
she's your best friend,
you
of
know,
course.
yeah, she's my best friend just because, like, not only because I am the only girl,
Mm-hmm.
so naturally I'm in a house full of men, you're gonna
Hmm.
gravitate towards your own gender,
Of course.
right?
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
But, and outside of her just being my mom, um, just even knowing her as an individual,
Mm,
we can get rid of her title as a mom. She is somebody that I truly can call my best friend
yeah,
because of the type of individual that she is. She's gone through a lot in her life, and the way that she has handled certain situations despite her hardships or even her dark days, it's something that I look up to because it's something that I like to follow as well, or I would do in life. Um, she's always been my number one supporter and
okay.
always been the one to keep it real. Of course, your mom's going to do that, but as we know, there's a lot of people who aren't blessed or fortunate to be able to have that type of relationship with their mother
Yeah,
or never had their mother in their life. So,
100%. This is kind of ironic to me because I myself, right, till this day, like I don't even like letting my mother know about my personal life. It's just awkward. Like I've never built that, you know, I guess friend mentality with my parent because I've always looked at them as an authority figure. And I've
yeah.
never kind of breached that, just like, hey, nah, like awkward, what the hell? So I find it very, first of all, refreshing and beautiful that you actually have a real, um, relationship outside of mother and daughter with your actual biological mother. So, shout out to you. You got to teach me how to do it, but I don't know, it's just awkward. Like I know I don't talk to my mom about girls, nothing. Like they find out about it at the end of the breakup. Like, oh, really? Oh, you couldn't tell me? I don't tell them jack, nothing. Not even my siblings. We don't even follow each other on social media. Like that's how it is. Like we're so quiet.
Really?
Hell no, because it's just snitching, Like I don't want you to know jack about my life. Just read about it in the newspapers. Like when I make it.
Mm. So
Um,
you would say you guys didn't have a very personable relationship
no,
then?
no, because my mother always compared all of us, right? And we were always like fighting for that type of
Mm.
notable like presence. We're always fighting for that like not in a competition way, but my mom definitely has favorites. She'd be lying if she told you she didn't have favorites. Um,
Hmm.
but at the same time, she compared us a lot to each other. And I still love her. She did everything she could have done to hold down the family, due to the passing
Right.
of my father. At the same time, though, that's probably what created the tension between my siblings and I. Um, we were really close when we were young, but now, it's kind of just like we're grown now, we're adults, so it's just I guess I've got to be the one to break the ice, right?
Right.
One of these days, like host a family like dinner. Everybody like pull up and we just enjoy each other's company. Like we don't talk about politics. It's like, my sister, once upon a time, like, we were political and it was kind of weird. Like now I'm super apolitical because all that stuff is a joke. But once upon a time, due to
Mhm.
that episode, it just, everything stemmed back to when we were younger, always like the competition and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So now I would like to transition into like, um, where do you see yourself in your future endeavor? Like, what do you see yourself doing in your future endeavor?
Mhm.
Like, actually,
You know, to be honest, and I hope this doesn't get digested the wrong way, but I also hope that this falls on to the ears that are kind of in the same boat as me
mm-hmm,
mentally. But uh, if you were to ask me that question, like even months ago or a year ago, I would have been able to tell you exactly, and I would have given you a few options.
mm-hmm,
But now my life has really, you never know what it's going to throw at you,
of course.
You never know what it's gonna look like in the next hour. So I wish I could say, yeah, I know what I'm gonna do or I have an idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at a chapter in my life where I honestly don't know and I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a bad way. I'm just for the first time in my life, I am truly genuinely just living in the present. Not to say that, you don't plan accordingly. I mean, I have a son, so
Of
I'm not just
course.
living loosey goosey, you know what I'm
Of
saying?
course.
But it just,
Yeah.
as an individual and all the things that I like to do and my passions and all of that being said, I don't know. I'm kind of just letting God guide me down a path to where, hey, if I end up here, I end up here. And if I don't, I don't.
Amen. You know, you really remind me of Rue from what's it called?
Euphoria?
Oh my God, you give me such Rue vibes, yo. I would just go where the wind takes me. Like I'm chilling, yo. I'm super relaxed. And I honestly like that. That's a very transparent question. Because a lot of people like to like fluff up and conjure a bunch of like, things that they're really just motivated, but they're not disciplined enough to reach, right? So the
Yeah,
fact that you are not complacent, but you are just enjoying the present because you are creating your future. Like 30 minutes ago, it was just the past, We're going to
exactly.
the introduction. So at the end of the day, you are 100% correct. Well said, right? You're enjoying the unfolding of what life is because you can plan all you like, but life has a way of just changing things. And I just say plans are just roadmaps where you can kind of go back and, go to the drawing board and see like, okay, all right, I have this route. I can take this one, it just gives you structure, but at the same
Yeah,
time, living in the present is honestly the best thing we can do as a human population, right? The future will take care of itself. We call it the car ride, right? At the
yeah,
occupation. So just when you're driving a car, if you look back at the rear mirror all the time, you're going to get in a car crash. If you look forward all the time and you don't look back, um, something that, you're not going to know what's happening if you're getting pulled over or anything like that. If you're, so you have to have the balance, right? Of looking, checking all your mirrors, just being an active person, living in the present, right?
yeah.
So that's the analogy that I want to use. And going back to the analogy of the white rabbit, right? Um, so the story goes, um, there's a zookeeper. He has a whole bunch of elephants, about like 100 elephants, and he puts chains on their leg, right? And the chain can only go so far, like maybe, you know, 300 yards or whatever, right? It can only go so far. And there's a limit, right? There's a perimeter that the elephants can cross because of the chains are, you know, strapped on their ankles. Do they call it ankles? Do elephants even have ankles? I don't even know. But anyways,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. So now, these elephants were so conditioned to not pass a certain point of the perimeter in the zoo that one day the zookeeper decided to take the chains off, and the elephants still didn't go past the section that they were not allowed to go through. One day
Okay.
there was a little baby elephant that was introduced to the clan or the herd, excuse me. And this elephant breached the perimeter. It was having fun, went all over the jungle, got lost, and came back. And the elephants, they were surprised. They were like, "Yo, like this guy, like how is he free?" And they themselves did not know that the chains were off of their ankles. And one day, the elephants followed the white rabbit, the white elephant, the one who was just curious. And
Hmm.
from that day on, when they broke that cycle of like, I guess off barriers that they weren't allowed to cross, when they broke that cycle, it allowed them to also enjoy the freedom just as the baby elephant who was exposed to the herd. And you remind me of that um, white rabbit, right? I kind of like to reverse the negative connotation of a black rabbit and then turn it into a white rabbit because at the end of the day, like you are just enjoying motherhood and you're relishing yourself in that, and you're doing fantastic because I believe you mentioned earlier your son is 7 months, and throughout his entering into this world, I know that I would like to talk about that experience because I bet that kind of brought you closer to your mother and gave you a sense of respect of what that experience entails. Would you say so?
Oh, for sure.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So then, what was your like personal, I guess, development throughout that stage of motherhood?
Mm. I hmm. So and even now, it's still hitting me just because
Yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff
No,
that
take your
that's
time.
happened in my life.
Yeah, take your
Like,
time. Just give me like the
like I,
highlights. I want to know the highlights. You know?
no, yeah, I got you. I'll answer the question. Don't worry, I got you.
Okay.
It's so, so really, I am not a confrontational person. I don't like drama.
Mm-hmm.
I truly don't. It just doesn't serve me. It doesn't sit well in my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Having a child, it kind of has a funny way of throwing you in that fire.
Mm.
Even if you do live a calm or lead a calm life, it just throws you in that fire. You have no choice but to wake up every day and go through something.
Mm.
And it's really helped me understand all the ways that I need to be able to show up for myself in ways that I didn't before. Just because I am not confrontational, I had to learn that not all conflict, not just because it's happening and just because you don't like it doesn't mean that it's necessarily a bad thing. As we know, challenges are healthy and they're necessary for you to grow and learn lessons in life and be able to have a
Mm-hmm.
bigger perspective on things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much the main thing for me that I learned was just how to show up for myself to be more assertive, and more self-assured,
Mm.
you know.
Okay. Now, when you were carrying, right, throughout every stage of your pregnancy, did you
Mhm.
learn something more about yourself that you did not know before that you had it within you?
Mm, it's a great question, actually.
Yeah.
I, I, I guess I learned how nurturing I really was.
Mm,
Like if people would kind of tell me about it, but I just never really saw it in the ways that people did. So, and like you become a mother, you become pregnant. Everybody's not the same, but me personally, I'm very careful and intentional with how I treat things, especially something as so fragile as a baby,
of course.
as new life. That's growing in you,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to really learn just how to be extra intentional with even just the way that I speak. And with that being said, just to get back on the question, um, yeah, I just learned about myself that I do have it in me to truly be a mom. And I say that because there's a point in time in my life where not that I didn't want kids or I hated kids, but I just didn't really see that for myself. Like I was okay without having a family. I was okay with not birthing any of my own offspring.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much the lesson I learned about myself. But yeah, I am a mom.
Yeah, you're gonna be the best mom ever, yo. Like your your son's going too cool. And I hope he gets your demeanor too. Just lay back, just like that, right? Now I would say though, like having children is something that I didn't even want to have too, because I'm just like, yo, like this earth is crazy, you know, like you think about so much bad stuff whenever you're a parent, but at the same
Oh
time,
yeah.
this one nurse, she broke. When I used to work at the hospital in my previous scope of interest, this one nurse broke my whole mindset. Like she shifted my paradigm. I was like, I don't want to have children, this and that. And she told me, but somebody had you. I said, damn, that's real.
Right.
That's real. Like somebody selfless to say, you know what? I'm going to come together and I'm going to make something bigger than myself. And, um, I believe in God and I'm a Bible believer and I subscribe to, you know, to the teachings of his son, the Messiah, right? At the same time though, um, the first commandment God gave humankind was to be fruitful and multiply.
Right.
And obviously I do want to have a family in the future, but again, right? If it's in its will, let it be done. I
Right.
know that we live in a society where everybody thinks having children is that easy. Oh no, no, no. It's a very difficult process. And especially for like, I'm not even going to go into the political realm, but sometimes they mention like when a woman gets the R word, she gets like, it's not that easy. There's something called, I just learned this new terminology, right? Uh, where after your menstrual cycle, you go into your ovulation process, right?
Hmm.
It has to be the right time when that egg is ovulated, and it just has to be, everything has to be in the right time. Not every
Right.
time that a woman has a sexual intercourse, it's not every time she gets pregnant, so it takes a very perfect moment for everything to happen. So now, I had a conversation this morning with one of my colleagues, and I was telling them like, you know, there's so many children out there for adoption who need, that love and support. I mean, if I can have a child, because sometimes it's not always the woman who's infertile, right? It can be the guy too. Like, I don't mind adopting because I know at the end of the day, like, I am also going to nurture that child like it's my own.
Yeah.
So there's so many children that need, right, good parents. So that's something that I'm not too, um, against, right? That avenue. But at the same time, I think parenthood is so beautiful because you are you're not living for yourself anymore, like it's bigger than you. Everything you do from this point on is about the wellness of your family, you know? And to have like somebody depend on you, it's another empowering act. It's like with great power comes great responsibility. So I'm saying all of this to say that at the age that you are, oh man, like very wise beyond your age, right? This will definitely increase that wisdom. And like back in the ancient world, like you would have been worshipped like as a god. She gave us a boy. Like continue the bloodline. Like you what? Come on now. Yo, back
Right.
then, come on. You would have been worshipped, because it was all about like continuing
The lineage. Yeah.
exactly, right? So I found that fascinating. Did you want to have a boy though? Was that your initial like thought, or were you?
Um,
Cool?
I know a lot of people say this, but I genuinely didn't care if I had a boy or a girl.
Okay,
I just really wanted my child to be healthy,
for
truly.
sure, for sure. Yeah, 100%. Okay. Now, one and done, right? Correct.
Uh,
Or this is,
I mean, I'm saying yes, but I don't know what's in store for me in the future.
of course. No, like
You
that's the
know.
answer. Yeah, it's not easy. Like it takes a toll on the body, the mindset. Like a lot of things happen in your body that you probably weren't even like aware could even happen.
Yeah.
Right? Like what the heck? Um, I I know that I can just remember when my mom was pregnant with my baby brother Christian. Um, I learned a lot, right? How to be a nurturer, and um, I was all about him, you know. And I just at this moment, right, speaking to you. He's bringing back so much memories. Um, People have told me that I'll be a good father, in the future. Like I've talked to many people. They're like, "Are you?" I'm like, "No." When they see me with him, they're like, "Is that your son?" And things of that nature. Like I taught him how to ride a bike, how to tie his shoelace, like helped him with all his schoolwork, like how to swim. Like I was that guy, like for him, to the point where
Mhm.
like I was big bro. Like if you watch that movie, Disney Channel with it's like the bear movie, Little Bear, Big.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was a classic.
Yeah, that was me. I was the guy. I was the bear, like the big brother, right? And I made sure he was good, like to the point where I used to get him like sneakers, he Jordan up, Nike up, like going to school. Like I made sure he was cool. And there's actually a fascinating story that I would like to share with you. One time, Christian was getting bullied, and a kid pushed him off of his scooter, and he came home with like a bruised eye. He had like some scrapes. Immediately,
Mm.
I was like, Christian, who did this to you? He was like, this guy, this and that at the bus stop, blah, 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 blah. And I called my other brother Jimmy, right? Third boy. Yeah, I'm the first son. He's the second. This is the third child, Jimmy. We pull up and we weren't going to do it. This is a child. We were just, just going to see, like, go speak to his parents, right?
Right.
So Jimmy and I pulled up some mafia stuff. So I'm driving and he's in the passenger. We wait for the bus the next day, right? To pull up. And the kid comes out with a scooter. He starts driving home. And, I believe my brother gets out of the passenger seat and he goes up to the child and he says, I'm Christian's older brother. And that guy in the car, that's my older brother. We put the fear of God in this guy, bro. So Jimmy was like, hey, we want to know where your house is because we would like to speak to your father. The father came outside. Like he was just kind of nervous. Like, what's going on? Jimmy was like, look, we're here. Like, we're here. We come in peace. We just wanted to just bring this to your attention. Your son was involved with the, altercation with our little brother. He had scrapes in his face. He got pushed by him. I know boys horse play and do, stuff, but at the same time, we just want to just, make sure that this doesn't occur again. The father was cool, this and that, we shook his hand. Everything was cool. The next day, his mother put a restraining order on my brother and I, yo.
Oh,
Like,
Lord.
like keep in mind, yo, like this child, we just wanted to talk to his father, which we did. It was cool.
Mhm.
But she put a restraining order on by the school, not like through any police or anything, but just the school, like, hey, um, they're not allowed to talk or do anything with my son. We don't even care about the boy or his relationship with my brother. We just don't want the bullying to keep occurring. So
Right.
I know that as a parent, you're you're gonna become very defensive. This is just something I wanted to share with you through the development of your child's life, right? And especially as a mother, like, uh, is going to become more, I guess, impactful for you because you're going to have that emotional aspect to deal with. But at the same time, you train your child to be a good representation of yourself, right? Right. And to be kind to others, things of that nature. Whenever Christian went to school, I told him these, I believe, three things, right? Be good,
Right.
uh, be kind, and most importantly, have fun. Be good, be kind, most importantly, have fun. Whatever you're
Right.
doing. So those are the mantras that I told him every day when he went to school. And I just wanted to say that, you know, like Gen Z in the house, stop playing. So, I mean, he's Gen Alpha, and I honestly did not have a lot of hope for Gen Alpha. But after I met this one prodigy from my Lyft episode, she was actually doing robotics class with her mom. Her mom is a Gen Xer, so I had hope. I had hope for Gen Z. I was like, okay, Gen Alpha is okay. Gen Alpha will be okay. Um, So your son was born 7 months, basically like last year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
He was born in December.
December, wow, that's
Mhm.
very good. So Christmas is gonna come double for him.
Oh, for sure.
Wow, what date on December?
Uh, 16th.
16th. Okay, that's good. All right. So now, Jaden, I would like to transition into more philosophical questions because,
Hmm.
I mean, you're a very, like, you know, vivid person and you know what you want in life. But at the same time, this is just more so like reflection, you know,
Hmm.
questions. So now I would like to know if you could go back to, if you could go back in the past to any age, right? What would you tell that age and what age would you be speaking to?
Mm.
Hmm. You weren't ready. I told you. Change your talks, baby.
Yeah, you caught me off
Yeah,
guard with that one a little
let's,
bit.
let's do it.
Yeah. Um, wow. I guess age, huh?
Yo,
I guess, I guess I would go back to when I was 5.
wow. So you
I
okay?
know.
I like that.
To the origin.
Orange, I love it.
You feel me? And I would say to her that you don't have to take responsibility for people's pain,
Mm,
you know,
yeah.
and to, hmm, and also that you're not too much.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody says that you're too much, they're not for you.
Mm. No, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. And speaking to your 5-year-old self, what type of like mindset were you in to even like process this information? Because were you thinking about this when you were 5 years old, or
Oh yeah.
wow? Okay.
I mean, obviously, like as a 5-year-old, you're not thinking about it like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Not in
yeah.
that, not that deeply. It's different. Like when I
Okay.
was 5, from what I can remember, when I was thinking about like other people's pain and feeling responsible for it, it was more so
Mm,
like, oh my gosh, this person is upset. So that means I have to be upset. Because if I'm not upset, that means that they're going to think I don't care,
mm,
you know?
mm,
That I don't care and that they're alone. And it was mainly because of, well, like it kind of had to do with like, the dynamic of me being kind of the oddball out.
mm-hmm.
I never wanted anybody to feel alone as long as they're in my presence because I know what that felt like. And also I didn't want them to feel like they had to, carry on their own stuff alone as well. Because again, I know what that felt like.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, so that's the kind of the mindset that I was at. I was just a very sensitive kid and not even just like, oh, she cries a lot. It wasn't like that. It was just, I would just feel, I was an energy person. I
yeah,
still am. I can feel when something's off.
got you. Yeah, 100%. Well said, and I believe it too because during my first encounters with you. I remember when I saw you again, you were like, "Hey, what's happening?" Like that day, like I lost my attitude, and you can already tell, right, by my countenance and things of that nature. But you were like, "Yo,
Yeah.
what's going on?" And I immediately, like, I was like, "Okay, Jaden's here. Let me stop tripping. I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm cool. We just let me kind of like reset."
Let me lock in.
Exactly. Wow, that's actually powerful on what you said. A lot of people like to just go back and tell themselves, like, it's gonna be better. Like, if I can go back to the any age, it would probably be like 12, right? Whenever I made that transition, excuse me, when my family and I made that transition from living from Nigeria, moving here from Nigeria all the way to Houston, right? We came here for one summer to see my cousins, and mom said we're not going back. I said, bro, what? And it was a hard transition, but I would go back to that age, 11, 12, and I would tell myself that it's gonna get better. You're okay, kid. Um, and just believe in yourself. Like keep at it. You know that
Right.
belief, self belief. You're gonna be okay.
That's that's beautiful though, actually.
Yeah, right. And you went deep on your 5 year old self. You went on some philosophical. I'm like, your 5 year old self would have been like, what? Like, but I understand the message, right? Like your 5 year old probably could not comprehend the type of terminology, but the way you would probably told your 5 year old self, they would understood because it's coming from you directly, you know?
Yeah.
You would know how to relate. Yeah, I think being 5 year old is a very, very impressionable age. And, a lot of times we can hold things subconsciously and not even know we have them, you know, like past traumas and things of that nature. And it
Exactly.
come up as adults, like, what the hell? This guy's a serial killer. Like, what happened? But you don't, when he was 5, he saw something really dark that messed him up, and then subconsciously, like, he compensated for that. So whereas, like, going to sleep, he probably sucked on his thumb or something like that. You're like, yo, why are you still doing that? Like, you're a whole ass adult. And he's like, yo, it makes me feel better. I go to sleep. I go to sleep, much smoother whenever I do this, you know? And I don't know why. I've just been doing it forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the subconscious is a very, very, big thing in psychology because it's where all your beliefs and lies and the ego and all that stuff, right? That's
Yeah.
where it all is. And, um, you know, every day I wake up, every morning, I am honestly like grateful because I'm able to create new memories just like I'm doing right now. And, just inspire others, that's pretty much it. I am leaving my digital footprint behind. And as human beings, we always want to be immortalized or like, we're like, just live forever. Like this is the way that I'm
Right.
able to do that. Like by living behind stories are so enriching, just like yours, right? Um, in addition to that, okay, this kind of sums up our conversation. Do you have any last remarks or anything that you would like the viewers to know about you? For example, like where to find you and things of that nature.
Uh, Find me on the salt of the earth, bro. No, I'm just kidding.
Of course, of
I
course.
mean, social media, I got TikTok, I got Instagram. On Instagram, you can find me MJB period 232. On TikTok, you can find me JB 2302. I'm not like no influencer. Like I am just a person, bro. You're not gonna really see anything too crazy on there. I just, I just post. I just post whatever I'd like to post, whether it's funny, whether it's philosophical, whether it's ignorant. I'm a human being. So if you just want to experience another human being and see what the hell I got going on, you can find me there. But I low-key wasn't kidding when I said find me in the earth, bro, because that's really just where I live. Like I don't live on social media. I actually just deleted, well not deleted, but I deleted the app and deactivated my account for a little while.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna give my location now, y'all, but I live over in Houston, Texas. I like to get out and about. So sometimes I'll be over in the Heights or Post Oaks or over in Katy, but I usually stay around, Missouri or something like that. But yeah, I'm usually outside in the park. You could find me there.
Fantastic.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said fantastic. No, like, she's so cool, guys. She's lying. She's the coolest person on earth, yo. Like, her life is so awesome. If you see her, like, trust me, you're gonna have a good time, yo. At the end of the day, I'm gonna tag all your information in the description below. And is there any last message you would like to share towards anybody listening that hopes to just, want to come out of the shell? Like, just what would you tell them to invoke inspiration?
Hey, look, I'm not even gonna give you no hippy dippy shit. Just do it scared, bro. do it scared. There's not going to be a single point in your life where you're going to face something and it's going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to do it scared. You really want to achieve your goals, you really want to become a different person, it's going to be uncomfortable. You can't become comfortable with being uncomfortable. So do it scared. If I can do it, I think you guys can definitely do it.
Amen to that. And in addition to that, this brings us to another episode of Stranger Talks. Good
Yeah, yeah.
evening and good morning, wherever you're listening to. And till next time, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Hey.